Big Q, what up?
How you doing, Kev?
Hey man, just look, it's a Saturday morning. Your boy tired, work be kicking my butt. But the show must go on. The Chicago Bulls tried to dig themselves out of another hole last night and just fell short. Just fell short in Brooklyn. Couldn't get the W to push their win streak to 3 games. The Chicago Bears, man, it's all over the place with them. We got injury reports, we got trade rumors, and we got to talk about the game tomorrow between them and the St. Louis Cardinals. And of course, we'll touch base on any other news that's coming from any other team right here on Chicago's Chi-Town Sports Central, of course, right after the intro. All right, Q. Listen, we're gonna get right into the commentary. But first, y'all make sure y'all like, follow, share, comment down below on any of the team discussions. Chicago Bears, man, bro, it's a lot going on with the Bears, B. It's a whole lot going on with the Bears. I'm hearing rumors that they quietly putting together a coaches list just in case this thing continues to go south with your boy Matt Eberflus. And my thing is things are probably going to continue to go south with your boy Matt
Yep.
Eberflus. Just if history dictates anything, let's just look at the numbers. He's 14-27 as Chicago Bears coach. He's 3-17 on the road. With one of those, the biggest caveat to that is he hasn't won a road game on a Sunday since he's been the Chicago Bears coach, which is just crazy to think about. He's 1-13 against teams with winning records, and when it comes down to one score games, the record that he has as a Chicago Bears coach is atrocious. And you can think of all the different games that we've seen the Chicago Bears lose, games that we should have won. We talked about it over here on this channel even. Um, do you think that it's smart for? I mean, I know the answer for Pose and Company to be putting together a coaches list.
Yeah, you know where I'm at. Yes. Shit, it should have been put together. He should have been fired after last game. But I mean, this is a good sign for me. Like it means that they actually want to think about it. Like this isn't one of those things where you're trying to hurry and figure out, oh, are they gonna fire him if it goes wrong? They're saying, hey, we're looking at coaches. If everything doesn't go the way we want it to go, we got to let you go. And that's what you want from a smart football team.
Hmm.
Right? A team that holds people accountable, a team that says this is not enough. It shows they're wanting to win. Maybe they're at a point now where they think the team can actually do something, so they're not worried about going after another coach. But I'm all for it. You know me. He should have been fired last game. I would have been excited. I would have been happy. Shit, I'm surprised he made it to the season in the first place.
Yeah, yeah. That's where I was gonna go. Not just after last game, but after last season. I think him and Justin Fields should have been a package deal.
Yep.
I think you should, if you're gonna reset set the clock on your quarterback, you should reset the clock on your coach, especially a coach who hasn't proven anything in this league besides his defensive chops. And the reality is, it puts Caleb Williams in a bad position to keep this coach on roster knowing full well that there's a chance that you're going to fire him after this season, which means that the offensive coordinator that you brought in is most likely going to be fired after this season as well.
Good.
Also, the defensive coordinator after this season as well. So you put yourself painted yourself into a corner unnecessarily because what you like the guy. He had 2 more years left on his contract. I think all of those are dumb reasons to have the number one. If it now I'll say this: if you were going to trade the number one overall pick and get that haul that everybody was talking about, then maybe I could see you keeping Eberflus on. But even with that, you was gonna probably draft Jaden Daniels. Probably gonna trade it to the Washington Redskins or whatever. But at the end of the day, I think Brian Pose, this was a major misstep for him. Keeping Eberflus on deck was a problem, and it's proving to be it's rearing its head. Now, obviously, we're not going to just completely jump ship and say the season's over, so on and so forth. They got 2 winnable games coming up before they go into the proverbial gasoline alley. So we're going to keep our ears to the street right over here on Chi-Town Sports Central regarding the Chicago Bears and their coach, because as the weeks go on, this could be where there's smoke, there probably is fire. All right, moving right along to the trade market. The last couple of seasons, Ryan Poles and company have been buyers at the trade market, at the trade deadline. With 4 days to go for the trade deadline, it seems as though the Chicago Bears are going to be sellers. There's no secret, Q, that they're looking at moving on from Nate Davis. They've already moved on from him, but they're fielding offers for him. Some team is going to pick him up from the Chicago Bears. We'll see that happen. And we're hearing rumors that Khalil Herbert has been granted the opportunity to be traded as well. How we feeling about the Chicago Bears being sellers instead of buyers, considering that they do need help on the offensive line, especially with all the injuries, which we're going to get into it later, and they can still get another edge rusher.
Yep. That's my feeling. If you're gonna do it, those are the two positions. If you trade anybody on this team for any position that's not an edge or an offensive lineman, we gonna have problems. This is your
What
especially
about for draft picks?
well for me. If you do trade for draft picks, you're gonna be picking up a lineman or an edge, right? Like if the trades this year don't turn out to be one of those two things, then something's wrong because it's been obvious for the last 3, 4, 5 years we need an offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like, well, we do, but what about this shiny little thing that we could pick up right here and add to the team? So until we start focusing on that, like for me, the Bears are one of those teams where we have talent, right? We have a good defense. Until we have an offensive line, we're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Super Bowl in our future until we fix that. So I mean, it's got one of those things where you got Nate Davis, who honestly it's just been moved on from. Herbert is a great running back. He just doesn't fit what we need right now. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely think I like that the Bears gave him the option to look for trades, give him a chance to go and start somewhere else, start fresh. We see what that did for Justin, right? He's feeling like a new person. He's over here trying to make Russell Wilson's job as hard as humanly possible. Um, it's just about trying to do what you need to do to fix your team. But yeah, as far as the trade, I'm happy for it as long as we do the right thing with it and we don't come back with some stupid ass wide receiver or something that we don't need and we're gonna sit here all complaining about how they're never gonna play.
That's facts. That's facts. And the last Bears news is the injury report, which is a lengthy one. Kieran Amagaje out. Jaquan Brisker out. Braxton Jones out. Montez Sweat questionable. Ryan Bates questionable. Kyler Gordon questionable. Tevin Jenkins questionable. He probably gonna play. Larry Borum was a full participant in practice, so I think he's gonna be here. But they got him questionable, and the ageless wonder Mercedes Lewis is questionable. The Chicago is that part of the season, man. The deeper you get into the season, the more people are going to be banged up, the more people are not going to be practicing throughout the week and game time decisions and so on and so forth. And hey, my biggest concern is Jaquan Brisker and the rookie.
Yep.
Like, come on, Mike. The rookie played one game and you're out. Like, come on, bro. You just played one, and it wasn't even a whole game, and you're out. But Jaquan Brisker hasn't played since they played against the Carolina Panthers. And that's bothersome because he's had concussion issues in the past and to miss 3 games because of concussion protocol and a bye week. That's very concerning for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's something where you got to look at it. It's going to be scary for going forward, right? We all know that once you get a concussion, it's easy to get another one. So having something like this where he's out this long, one, it's going to put him at risk of getting another one. Two, just being rusty. Like this is the NFL. Like you miss a week and you're behind. He's missed almost 4 now. He's gonna have to come back. We're probably gonna see a week or so where he's trying to ramp himself back up, get his cardio back up. So you always got to add a week to 2 weeks after someone comes back just to even see that. But I mean, yeah, like we said last video, this is the game for it. If you wanted to have all these people out against anybody, I'd rather be the Cardinals.
I don't trust the Bears against anybody in the NFL. I don't think there's any ever a game in which the Bears can benefit from not having a full tilt of players. That's just me. They've never given me the at least this season. I know the defense is giving me confidence that they can show up and play well. It's always next man up mentality for the defense. But that offensive line situation causes me to pause. Like, hey, wait a minute. We're down 2 left tackles now, and then the next man up is the one that's been out all season, and Larry Borum. I just don't like that at all, especially for Caleb Williams. but we gonna see. We gonna see. So definitely tomorrow, man, 3:05 p.m. Central Standard Time, the Chicago Bears take on the Cardinals on the road. And let's see if Matt Eberflus can coach him to his first road victory on a Sunday. That'll be interesting to see if he can pull that off. That's another reason why I'm not too confident about this game. But if you guys want to hear anything else about the Chicago Bears, head on over to Chicago Bears Central, where the entire Chi-Town sports family holds it down. All right. So moving on, the Chicago Bulls last night had an opportunity to get a 3-game winning streak, and it was going to be a historic 3-game winning streak because they were down 20 in 2 of those games. They're down 17 last night, and they fought all the way back and took a brief lead versus the Brooklyn Nets. But at the end of the day, you just can't keep putting yourself in that big of a hole and
Yep.
expecting to come out on top. And that's what happened last night. They just didn't have enough in the tank. And frankly, Cam Thomas he's a thug. That dude is a monster. He's a criminal. He needs to be locked up because some of the stuff he was doing was disrespectful, bro. It was aggravated assault on the Chicago Bulls, whether it was turning the corner and into the basket for fouls or layups, or just pulling up from 3 feet in front of half court with the
That
2 minutes to go in the game to
that
put
was
the game
cold.
away, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like I can't even blame the Bulls for last night's loss, frankly, because Cam Thomas was on a mission. Cam Johnson was on a mission, and your boy Ben, I don't feel like playing anymore because my mind hurts. Simmons was
Looked
out
like
there
old Ben.
looking like an all-star, bro. He was throwing dimes, getting layups and points when he needed, getting rebounds. The Bulls were just outplayed last night and frankly outcoached.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, one when Ben started the game off with that drive layup, I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those. Like he's not playing like he's scared no more. I mean, the Bulls, they did what they always do. The issue with the Bulls team right now is they spend the first 2 quarters not doing anything and getting down super big to a point where now we got to spend all our energy trying to fight back,
Yeah.
and that's not anything new. But I mean, yeah, it was a good game. I got to shout out Vooch. Vooch continued to play amazing, but this definitely had to be his best game. 28 points, 11 rebounds, 10 for 11 from the field. But that's another issue with the Bulls. Vooch was the hottest person on this team, had only missed one shot, and you basically didn't pass on the ball in the fourth.
Yeah, I was at work watching this game, and the fact of the matter is they didn't pass him the ball in the third quarter either. He got like 3 putbacks in a row because they
Mhm.
wouldn't give him the ball, so he was just following the ball to following up on misses. And again, that's on coaching. Billy Donovan has been getting a lot of praise this season for how he's approached rotations and plays and so on and so forth this season. But at the end of the day, um, ignoring Vucevic, because I called it on Locked On Bulls yesterday with Hayes that the Bulls were going to that Vooch was going to have a big game, and that was me anticipating that Zach LaVine was going to be out, Patrick Williams was going to be out
Yep.
earlier in the day. We heard a bunch of injury reports for the Bulls, but all of them played. They played through it, and he was on pace to have a 40-10 night, but they just didn't give him the ball. At,
Yep.
at some point, as the coach, you have to drive home the point of, hey, Vooch has got it going. Let's play through him. But instead of doing that, they just let the Bulls. He let Kobe White keep chucking threes, Zach LaVine keep chucking threes, and so on and so forth. And even Josh Giddey was shooting bad shots. I did not like what I saw from the Bulls down the stretch, but mainly defensively, they just could not get it going. They got picked apart defensively. So
Yeah. And
that's
this was
just it.
definitely a game where our bench didn't step up at all. I
Oh
mean,
no,
our best scorer is Io off the bench, and he was 3 for 11.
yeah, and Jalen Smith's working his way back, and then you also got another situation in which Montes Buzelis did not even see the court.
Yeah.
And he got a DNP coach's decision, and a lot of it had to do with what Billy Donovan referred to as just a matchup issue. He felt like the matchup last night just wasn't good enough for the rookie to see the floor, and I can't say I disagree with him. Even though Brooklyn's not a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, these guys have a lot of depth. They have a lot of veterans on this team that can come in and give you buckets. You saw Contavious Caldwell Pope hitting big shots. You saw Cam Johnson hitting big shots, and the list goes on. So that's just the reality of it. We came into the season. I already knew the approach that was going to be taken because it's just how Billy Donovan does things. He doesn't play rookies. He just doesn't play rookies. It doesn't matter where you were drafted, IO, and so on and so forth, had to earn their minutes. And even coming into the season, he said that he was going to let him be on the big roster for a little while, and then he's going to put him in the G League and let him get some minutes. Just have him on the big boy roster to get used to the game day preparations and the
Yep.
travel and stuff like that. And that's what he's staying true to his word. I did not expect Montes Bazelis to get a lot of burn this season, at least to start the season, unless there were major injuries.
Yeah, I mean, I get wanting him to go slow. My only issue with this is Modest wasn't a second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't late first.
Mm-hmm.
Got to give him at least like 4 or 5, like 4 or 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Man couldn't touch the floor. You
Hey,
couldn't check the matchup because like my thing is, yeah, we could say we didn't think the matchup worked, but there's no way he plays worse defense than Josh Giddey.
yeah,
So like, I mean, we could at least give the man a chance to show he can. And
yeah,
then if he doesn't look good in 2 minutes, take him out. That 2 minutes at the beginning of a game wouldn't have changed anything at the end of the game because the
yeah,
Bulls were already looking like they were going to get blown out for half of this game anyway. So
yeah,
in those situations, I feel like I get it. If this was Boston and you're trying to be, a championship team, you're up. You don't want to risk being up. You don't want to risk the lead. If you're down 15 and you're trying to find somebody for some energy, hey, here's 2 minutes. Show me what you
mm-hmm.
can do in 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes. You're going to come out in 2 minutes.
Yep. I feel where you're coming from. I'm just not surprised.
Yeah,
That's just
it's
the
Billy.
reality of it.
It's
I'm not
Billy.
surprised. I didn't expect anything different from Billy Donovan to start the season with Matas Buzelis, regardless of where he was picked, because it's just his history as a coach. It's just how he's done things as a coach historically for the Chicago Bulls, and I'm pretty sure he did the same thing in Oklahoma City when he was there. That's just the reality of it. So, if you guys want to hear anything else about the Chicago Bulls, they have the rest of the weekend off. They're not back in action until Monday night. So that'll be good for these guys that got some nicks and bruises, bumps and bruises to nurse themselves back to health. And hopefully we can get a victory on Monday night to improve to above 500. Head over to Chicago Bulls Central and the Shot Bulls podcast with Hayes, C-Dub, Bobby, Steve-O, myself. All right, moving right along. The Blackhawks play tonight. They're going to be playing the LA Kings. The LA Kings are good. So I don't expect the Blackhawks to get a victory,
Yep.
but we'll see. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Head on over to Chicago Blackhawks Central for any news and updates over there. The gang is holding it down. Scopes is doing his thing over there. And then, of course, the Chicago Sky are searching for a new coach. We already know that the Indiana Fever have theirs, and if we're going to have a true rivalry, Chicago Sky are going to have to hire a good coach to deal with that situation because, listen, the doggone Stephanie White going back to Indiana Fever is big for them. Caitlin Clark is going to be a stud.
Oh, she
Uh,
this year, I don't like, regardless of whether you a Caitlyn fan or not, this year, she about to show some people some stuff.
oh yeah,
This about to be a scary year. She gets to rest. She
she
gets
get a
to
whole
kind of
off season.
chill. It's gonna be scary when she come back if she continue. Like I think this is the year we start seeing her shoot the way we expected. I feel like last year she didn't shoot the way we thought she would. It was more of like the assist, all the playmaking, all that stuff. This year she gonna come out and shoot the way we thought she was going to shoot, and it's gonna be a Steph Curry type moment.
Yeah, it's gonna be Stephanie Curry out there, and people gonna be mad, of course, but it is what it is. I don't see a point in being mad at somebody showing a skill set that Caitlin Clark has. Even if I
Yep.
am a Chicago Sky fan, an Angel Reese fan, I can still appreciate the game of basketball to the point where I don't hold a grudge against a player like that. Just like with the Green Bay Packers, like as much as I hate the Packers, I can still recognize how great Aaron Rodgers was when he did play
Yep.
for them. So it is what it is. If you want to hear anything else about the Chicago Sky, head on over to Chicago Sky Central, where Hayes and Steve-O hold it down over there. Indie breaking news for sure. They're going to hit you as soon as there's a coach. You can go ahead and log into YouTube, and they'll be right there with you. Let's see. The Chicago White Sox, we already know that they got their coach. This is a recap of the week. They got Will Venable for their coach. They formally introduced him right after the World Series. Shout out to Michael Kopech from going from being on the White Sox this year to being a World Series champion. He got to be waking up every morning with the biggest smile on his face. But yeah, Will Venable sounds like he's ready. Q. He sounds like he's ready. He's ready for the challenge, and he didn't have to take this challenge. He decided to do
Yeah.
it, bro.
It's a little scary though, because like if we're being honest, who looks at the Sox and goes, "I want to coach them.
Somebody
I
who
think I could fix that."
is the same way Theo Epstein looked at the Cubs and said, "I think I could fix that."
But see, that's different. You got control there. Like to be a coach and to be told like we're not gonna trade for nobody. We not like
I
like
think
that's a hard.
I believe that they didn't say they're not going to trade for anybody. They're definitely going to trade Garrett Crochet and maybe even Luis Robert Jr. They said that they're not going to be too active in the free agency market, which I also believe is just smoke and mirrors.
Hopefully,
There's no way you can be inactive in a free agency. That's just how baseball works. Like baseball has way too many moving parts to sit on your hands. And now that they have Will Venable, I believe because he's been in the front office position before, he's going to have a little bit more say so on what this team does. I think when Chris Getz said that, and this is me speculating, of course, but I do believe that when he said those things, it was when they were still in limbo about what they were going to do with the coaching at the manager position.
it always scares anything with Jerry scares me.
Yeah, you're right.
Cause like you can't it don't matter what experience you have, it don't matter what your history is. He gonna be like, nah, I want to say what I want, and he
Yeah.
gonna do what I want, regardless of if you think it's good or not. We just gonna keep doing what I think is good.
And it's safe to say that Jerry Reinsdorf is not a Spike Lee fan because he's definitely not about doing the right thing. All right, if you guys want to hear anything else about the Chicago White Sox, head on over to Chicago White Sox Central. It is the brand new channel. We've separated the two channels between the Cubs and the White Sox. And hey, it is what it is. The Chicago Cubs, no major news on the Chicago Cubs, but you can still head over to Chicago Cubs Central. I did an episode earlier this week about what would happen with my man's Cody Bellinger. So head on over to Chicago White Sox, Chicago Cubs Central with me and a brand new co-host, Mike Jones. We're gonna be dropping a lot of content now. We're reviewing the season and so on and so forth. So be on the lookout there. Go ahead, like, follow, and share. And I think that we covered all teams, man. Y'all already
Yeah,
know what it is. We appreciate the love and support that y'all give us right here on Chi-Town Sports Central. One of the episodes got over 2,000 views, but we sitting back like, wow, that was unexpected. But it is
yep,
what it is. Hey, slow down, my guy. You're going too fast. Watching my kid play this Astrobot game. But hey, we appreciate y'all, and we're gonna holler at you all next time. Peace.